Like we said, really a key matchup here coming out of the Christmas break for the Hudson Raiders. And it's kind of been an up and down season. They opened with a 17-point win on the road against D.C. Everest, and then fell to a small school but a traditionally good program, the Colfax Vikings, 60-52, and then lost a close one by 6 at Eau Claire Memorial, and then had a real tough loss here in our first broadcast against Chippewa Falls by 19, and then won on the road at River Falls, beat an Eau Claire North team handedly, won a close non-conference games against the Hastings Raiders before break, and then split the holiday tournament over in Marshfield for a final tally of 5-4. Taking a look at the Hudson statistics, Sophia Jonas, leading scorer, averaging 13 points per game. Lauren Stoltzman averaging 12, and Audrey Hatfield averaging 10. Brian, this Hudson team is a very young team with a lot of sophomores and juniors and really kind of trying to find their own way.
Young and very talented. On both sides of the ball, Hudson can find a way to dominate teams. But like you said, they've had the definition of an up-and-down season. It has been a bit rough for them so far. They have been losing games that they probably could win. And a 5-4 record with the talent on this squad doesn't really seem suitable for how good this Hudson squad can be. So caught in the middle of the pack for right now, but they should be available to get, or this game should make a pathway, rather, for them to get higher if they can win.
Well, I think one of the keys tonight, Audrey Hatfield has really established herself, the 6'2 sophomore, as a post presence and a rebounding presence. Of course, the Hudson Raiders, led by head coach Jessica Carney in her second year at the helm. The Menomonie Mustangs are led by Storm Harmon.
And speaking of Audrey Hatfield, she has been quite an anchor for this Hudson Raiders squad. Defensive side of the ball, she makes her presence felt with her post play, and then on the offense, she has a really nice offensive skill set where she can get buckets in a big way for them.
And watching Hudson warm up, Lauren Stoltzman really impressed me. We talked about her prior to going on. And she's very quick, got a good outside shot, moves the court well, and I look, if they're going to pull the upset tonight, I look for Stoltzman to be a big part of that.
Her and Sophia Jonas are fantastic ball handlers for this Hudson squad, so the start of the offense and the finish of the offense is going to go through them.
Kylie Mogan is going to jump against Audrey Hatfield to start this game out. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we are underway. Stoltzman with possession back to Hatfield. Dribbling, kicks it back out and turns it over.
Early mistake there. Can't have that.
So the first turnover of the game is pass goes out of bounds, and the Menomonie Mustangs get possession across half court. Looking around, dropping to the baseline, drops it back over to Thornton. Thornton kicks it back over on the left side, looking to work it into Mogan. Of course, Kylie Mogan, no good, the Mustangs' leading scorer.
Yeah, and even though they didn't make it, that's a good look there for Menomonie, getting a good bucket inside. And it looked open, and it looked like there was a lane to just put it in, but just kind of an unlucky bounce.
Hudson coming off the defensive board, now maintaining possession. That Boyley, top of the key, off to the left side to Jonas. Jonas back to Stoltzman. She's going to cork it from three, and then Lauren Stoltzman for the first points of the game.
Hudson, nice job spreading the floor early, keeping this Menomonie defense on its toe.
Opening possession. Johnson bringing it down for the Mustangs. Kicks it off to Hastings. And back to Johnson, top of the key right side, driving into the lane, going up against Stoltz.
Oh, wow, bully ball right there.
Puts it up and in, no offensive call. And Hudson turned it over on a careless play, 3-2 Menomonie, and stepped on the line. That turnover there was by Boyley.
Too early. Hudson.
One on an errant pass, one stepping on the line. Mustangs retain possession underneath their own basket. Kicks it out to the left, off to Hadelman. She's going to drive on Hatfield. Hatfield gets in her face. Forces the bad shot, goes back up like they're going to get Audrey Hatfield for the foul.
And if Menomonie is going to try and get one player in foul trouble, it has to be Audrey Hatfield for them if they want her out of the game, because she is such a just a dominating presence down low.
And check that. That is not going to be on Hatfield. That is going to be on Annika Lewis.
Oh.
The senior for Hudson for the first foul of the game. First free throw attempt, no good. Thank you for joining us. A Saturday affair here. Departure from the normal Friday schedule. Second shot, no good.
Off for 2.
Offensive rebound going up by Mogan. No good. We're going to have another foul here. This one is going to be on Johnson. That's going to be the first foul on Menomonie. Hudson retains possession, pushing it on a fast break. That's Jonas. Jonas driving to the top of the key, kicking it back to Boyley.
Great job starting the offense there from Sophia Jonas, taking the lead pass from Audrey Hatfield and using her ball handling to, get her offense set and having the defense chase after her.
Jonas up at the top of the key. Kicking it back off to Stoltzman, who has the only points of the game for the Raiders with the three-pointer. Goes out of bounds, another turnover. 16:07, Raiders cling to a 3-2 lead. Low scoring here early on.
Yeah, careless mistakes and fouls so far have kind of defined the game besides some good offensive play for Hudson besides the early mistakes and the foul from Annika Lewis.
And Johnson puts the ball up. Rebound by Hatfield. Hudson pushing it in transition. Shot no good. Menomonie does the same. Kylie Mogan, leading scorer for the Mustang, puts it up. No good. Hatfield with the rebound. Kicks it back out to Jonas. Brings it across half court left side. Moves to the top of key. Back off to Stoltzman to the right. She's going on cork run from the three. Ooh. No good. That's where she hit the one earlier. No good on that one.
She has that kind of range, though. A few steps back from the three-point line, Lauren Stoltzman can make that all game long.
Low block entry pass to Hadelman. No good. Rebound to Hudson. Hudson bringing across half court. To Lewis. Off to Jonas. Left side being guarded. Drops it out to Stoltzman. Top of the key. Off to the right. Held by Jonas. She's looking to drive.
Oh.
Lost it out of bounds. And Hudson having a bit of a time turning it over here early on.
Yeah, it has been pretty rough for them so far. They've been getting their offense set up well, but just careless mistakes early on have been kind of a killer for them.
Several substitutions for the Menomonie Mustangs. We're still 3-2 here, 15 minutes, 3 minutes in. Half number 1. Menomonie Mustangs coming to town. 9-2 on the season, taking on the 5-4 Hudson Raiders. Mustangs bringing it up court. That's Schwartz.
Good half-court trap there from Hudson so far, or right now, trying to get a turnover for them and get Menomonie to turn it over quickly.
Jacobson off to the far left.
She missed a wide-open pass in the paint, too. That could have been an easy bucket there for Menomonie.
Excellent double team there by Hudson, forcing the turnover, kicking it back to Stoltzman. And again, from the right-hand side, Lauren Stoltzman with her second three-pointer of the game, and the Hudson Raiders up 6-2. It's been all Lauren Stoltzman. We talked about her in the pregame. She's uncorked 3 threes from that same position over there on the right, and 2 have gone in. 6-2 Hudson. Mustangs bringing it up. Tenacious defense by the Hudson Raiders, forcing their second consecutive turnover as they're doubling the ball and forcing the turnover. Back to Stoltzman, top of the key. Kicks it back off to Lewis. Lewis back up top to Jonas.
Yeah, when Menomonie has the ball, as you mentioned, they are just swarming the offensive player. Hudson has just not let them breathe at all. It's been suffocating the offense so far.
Shot no good. Defensive board by the Mustangs. Looks like the Mustangs are going to call a timeout or kind of think things over. 30-second timeout. Raiders up 6-2. Lauren Stoltzman with 2 early three-pointers have the Raiders up 6-2. What are you seeing so far?
I'm seeing a good offensive display so far from the Hudson Raiders. The only issue, nitpicking, is kind of just the mistakes, kind of the turnovers or the fouls early. But they've been playing great so far. They've kept Mustang at a stranglehold.
I like the defensive intensity. They're doubling the ball. They forced turnovers multiple times. And I think the scoring pace will probably pick up here. And this is a Menomonie Mustang team that can really light it up. Again, they're coming in 9-2. They're one of the top rivers and coming off a tournament victory over in the tournament that they hosted over the Christmas break. Top of the key. Back out, that'd be Schwartz. Schwartz dribbling on the right-hand side.
Nice
Beautiful
backdoor cut. Yeah.
Beautiful inside pass to Jacobs, or to Johnson, who finishes.
Yeah, that should be easy work every single time, whoever gets it inside.
The Mustangs finished that one up to pull within 6-4. Back off to Stoltzman. She's been feasting on that right side off the 3 points. Now kicks it back over to Jonas. No good. Defensive board by Mogan. Mogan's going to push it up herself. Mogan, the leading scorer for the Mustangs, tries to get it inside. No good. Picked off by Stoltzman.
Stoltzman taking it up herself there, getting it to Boyle up top. Nice.
And
Good play.
Boyle driving in, coming off the pass from Stoltzman. Shot is no good, but she's going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. 6-4 Hudson, 12:55 to go.
Yeah, hopefully Livy can double it up here for the Hudson Raiders. It would be good here so far, and nice inside move there as the first shot falls.
And Boyle averaging 6 points per game coming in. Only a sophomore, one of several key sophomores playing a key role on this Hudson Raider team, 5'9". She plays both guard and forward.
Yeah, she's a great utility player for this Hudson Raiders squad.
Second shot up and in. Raiders up 8-4 as Boyle knocks both free throws back. They're doubling up the Mustangs so far here. 12:51 to go, half number 1. Off on the right side, Mustangs. Hudson playing tough defense. Man-to-man, top of the key. That one's going off to Mogan. Mogan looking to dribble, kicks it back off to Johnson. Johnson's going to spin the lane.
Yeah, Menomonie right now has kind of been content with just 2-man or ISO ball so far right now. Besides that, one nice backdoor cut early on in the game here. That's a nice move too, but Menomonie has just kind of been slow on offense so far tonight.
Chen was doubled there. And Mogan's going to go to the free throw line. That's going to be a foul on Livy Boyle.
2 fouls apiece for both teams so far tonight.
First shot up and good. Kylie Mogan coming into the game, as we mentioned, averaging 16 points per game, shooting 34% from the field and 72% from the free throw line.
Yeah, she is the best Menomonie offensive player, hands down. Maybe not efficiency-wise, but she's been putting points on the board.
Second shot is good, and they close the gap to 8-6. Couple substitutions for Menomonie. Looks like the Mustangs are going to employ a full-court press coming off this free throw.
And Grace O'Brien checks in, and from the games that I've seen earlier, Grace O'Brien has been tenacious on the defensive side of the ball. She's really scrappy.
Kicking it into Hatfield.
Hudson will need that right now in a game against a good scoring offense in Menomonie.
Grace O'Brien kicked it back off to Hatfield.
Ooh.
No good. Rebound to Menomonie. Back out to Hastings. Hastings going to unload from 3. No good. Rebound by Hatfield. Kicks it out to O'Brien. Or excuse me, that was Carly. And she will go to the free throw line as she was hacked on the way up. That being Melanie Carly, 5'9" senior.
Yeah, good quick offensive possession for the Hudson Raiders there. Menomonie puts up a quick shot, and they get a taste of their own medicine there as Hudson just goes quickly right down the floor. And catches them off guard.
The Mustangs coming off that timeout went to a full court press for the first time. And Hudson was able to break it fairly quickly, fairly easily.
Yeah, they kind of pulled it out really quickly for only being down by 4 points, but they could probably feel the momentum changing.
Second shot up and in for Carly.
Yeah, the farthest that Hudson has pressed up so far tonight early in the game has been a half-court trap.
9-6 Hudson coming off that free throw. Mogan with the three-pointer from the cheap seats, no good. Rebound by O'Brien. O'Brien kicking it up to Stoltzman. Stoltzman looking to drive, kicks it off to Hatfield. Hatfield, 6-footer, no good.
Oh, that's 2 mid-range J's now for Audrey Hatfield that she hasn't made good on, and she usually can convert those. So
Menomonie pushing it up to Hastings. And that's going to pull the Mustangs to within 1, 9-8 as we go back and forth here. 11:23 to go, half number 1. Hudson bringing it up, looking to get it off to Hatfield.
Oh, nice
wide
pass.
Open. Lauren
Fantastic
Stoltzman.
pass from Lauren Stoltzman.
Lauren Stoltzman with a wide open Audrey Hatfield underneath. 11-8 Hudson.
Yeah, a bit of a sloppy offensive possession, but it turns into 2 points for the Raiders with a nice layup there from Audrey Hatfield and a fantastic pass from Lauren Stoltzman.
And Thornton, no good there. The 5'7" freshman seeing some action for this Mustang team. Stoltzman kicks it back over to Jonas. Jonas is going to let her fly. I think they're going to get Hatfield with the push-off on the defensive rebound.
Hudson's perimeter shots have almost exclusively been from the wing, either the left side or the right side.
That'll be the first foul on Audrey Hatfield. 11-8 Raiders, 10:47 to go here in half number 1.
Yeah, it seems like whenever one team gets a foul, right after the other team does to even it up in the foul column. 1-1, 2-2, and 3-3.
Lexi Hastings here off on the right, kicking it back in to
Nice
Hadelman.
hook shot.
Hadelman goes hook over Hatfield. Draws to within 11-10. It's been back and forth. The scoring pace has picked up here in the last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, both offenses are coming alive now with good motions on the offensive side. They're setting off-ball screens and getting good shots open, whether that's three-pointers or backdoor cuts for Menomonie.
O'Brien kicking it back over Hatfield. Hatfield's doubled there. Back off to Jonas. Jonas looking, dribbling top of the key off to Stoltzman on the far right. She's guarded, thinks about shot, pulls it back. Back off to O'Brien. O'Brien back off to Carly, looking to feed Hatfield. No good. Or no shot. Shot no good. Rebound by Menomonie. They're going to push it up court. 11-10. The Mustangs looking to take the lead for the first time tonight. So we dip under 10 minutes to go here in half number 1.
Yeah, this would be a great run for the Mustangs. They found themselves in a hole early, getting doubled up by Hudson. And if they can make it 12-11 or 13-11, that would do a lot for morale for this Mustang squad.
Over to Schwartz. Johnson looking to drive in. No good. This is guarded by Hatfield. Change the shot. Rebound by Jonas. She's going to push it up on the right. Kicking it back off.
There's Stoltzman
to Carly.
Again. Oh. Bricking off the right side of the rim there.
Good hustle by Hudson, getting that offensive board. Kicks it back out to Carly. Looking to drive into triple coverage. No good as she drove the lane. Rebound by Hastings. Hastings chased by Carly on the right-hand side. Kicking it back off to Johnson. Johnson. Oh, that's going to be tough. They're going to get a second foul now in about the last minute. That's going to be on Hatfield. We'll have to see if Coach Jess Carney pulls her out as we hit the 9-minute mark, 11:58 to go.
Right,
and she does come out.
Yeah, Grace Johnson subs in for her right there. Second time she'll be checking in the game.
The Mustangs will have the ball under their own basket coming out of this change. Kicks it back off to Hadelman on the far right side. Cross-court pass, almost throws it away. Recovers back out top of the key to Johnson. Johnson's done a lot of the ball handling from the top of the key for the Mustangs tonight, off to the right side. Good defense. Hudson said showed very good defense tonight, and another turnover by the Mustangs.
Yeah, even though Hudson had Menomonie had a little bit of flash in the pan there on offense so far, and having chances to take the lead, Hudson has kind of held strong here and not felt intimidated.
Full court press by the Mustangs. Hudson breaks it to their side of the court, back to Stoltzman. She's thinking about driving. Takes a peek at the baseline, kicks it back out to Sophia Jonas. Jonas off to O'Brien. O'Brien kicks up, no good.
Even though that shot didn't go in, that was a fantastic open mid-range shot, and Hudson has been feasting on open opportunities from backdoor screens and getting their shooters open.
Johnson back off to Hadelman. Back off to Johnson. 11-10 Raiders. We're under the 8-minute mark. First half. Back off to Hastings, trying to feed it in to Hadelman. And that's Destiny Hadelman. She's a 6'2 senior.
Yeah,
no good.
She can definitely challenge Audrey Hatfield when they're both on the court at the same time. Obviously, they're not right now, but Menomonie has the size to pair up with a player like Audrey Hatfield, which is one of the main reasons why Hudson has been above 500 this season. Their play inside has been good simply because of the advantage that Audrey Hatfield has over any sort of competitor that she's faced so far.
Off to Jonas. Grace Johnson. Johnson kicks it back to O'Brien. Away from above the free throw line, no good, but offensive rebound by Hudson. Kicks it back out to Boyley. Shot no good. We're going to get a possession.
Hasn't been a whole lot of middle ground so far for Hudson shots. It's either been right under the basket or past the three-point line. Mid-range shots have been open for a while, but Hudson hasn't been able to convert.
Hudson holding an 11-10 lead here. Both teams with 4 fouls. We go under the 7.5-minute mark in half number 1. Mustangs bringing it down court. Jacobson Jacobson feeding it into Hadelman. To work Hadelman into that low block. Good backdoor pass, and that was going to come into Kylie Mogan. And for the first time, the Mustangs pull ahead 12-11.
Yeah, first lead of the night for Menomonie, correct?
Off to Johnson. Johnson off to Jonas. Jonas top of the key, looking for the opening. They've worked behind the arc, tried to work it in. Hatfield on the bench with 2 fouls. Drops it in to Johnson. Johnson. Excellent perimeter ball movement by the Raiders. Shot no good. That one by Jonas. Jonas steals it back, kicks it back off. Up and in. That one would be Annika Lewis coming off the steal, and the Raiders retake the lead. 13-12, 6.5 to go here. Half number 1. Mustangs quick up.
Wow, just
to Johnson.
Just quick fire right back. Active hands on defense from Sophia Jonas leads to a bucket, and then Menomonie just comes right back.
With a shot, Johnson, the Mustangs retake the lead. Back off to Lewis. Lewis off to Juza, who has come in. And Boyley looking to work the baseline. She bangs it off of Hadelman. That's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be Mustang ball. Mustangs cling to a 14-13 lead. It's been back and forth here the last couple of minutes. 6 minutes to go here in half number 1. Johnson bringing it up court. Across the half-court line. Drops it back off to Hastings. Hastings to the right. Off to Chen. And back to Johnson, looking to drive the right side. Menomonie trying to work it inside. Good defense by Hudson, shutting down the passing lane. Back off to Chen. Back off to Johnson. And Hadelman posting up in the right side. Drops it back off to Chen. Top of the key. Going to uncork the 3. No good. Board by Boyley.
Good shot there from Menomonie. Just kind of as open as it can get from 3 as Stoltzman pulls. A bit contested.
Stoltzman from the right side this time. No good. She hit 2 threes earlier in the half. Hastings drops it back off to Hadelman, who puts the shoulder down. Not offensive foul. Kind of a scrum down there, and the Mustangs come away with it. Puts it up and in. 16-13, the Mustangs with their biggest lead of only 3, as the Raiders have led for the lion's share of this first half. Drops it back off to Carly. Carly looking to drive the baseline, instead kicks it back. Back off to Johnson. Johnson back off.
Yeah, Hudson with a lot of active ball movement so far on offense. It's been leading to open shots. It's just a issue of can they convert them.
Stoltzman, Boyley on the right side. They're trying to work it. Trying to get that baseline, draw defenders to a double, and then kick it back out. Stoltzman, top of the key from the cheap seats, no good. Rebound by Menomonie. They're going to slow it down a little bit here as the Hudson Raiders shooting has gone cold here in the last couple minutes. They've fallen a bit behind here, 16-13. 4 minutes and change to go.
Yeah, Menomonie has kind of settled into a half-court set style of offense so far. Right there drawing a foul.
That's going to be on Hudson. We're going to have to see who. That's going to be on Grace Johnson, the 6'1" sophomore forward for the Raiders. That will be her first foul. It'll be the 5th team foul for the Raiders.
One more, and Menomonie will sneak into the bonus here.
Audrey Hatfield checking back in.
Yeah, looking to ride out the last 4 minutes without any more foul trouble. I expect Menomonie, though, to go right at her, maybe try and catch her swiping across.
Shot up and in. Mustangs with a 4-point lead now, 17-13, 4 minutes to go. Stoltzman pressured.
Nice move there, just blowing right past.
She can really go. Drops it back off to Carly, off to Boyley. Boyley back out to Stoltzman, top of the key. So off to Sophia Jonas, and Jonas back to Boyley. Raiders we're more patient on offense here. I think defensively, Menomonie has tightened up after the Raiders led for most of the first half. Kicking it back in to Carly. No good.
Audrey draws a foul there.
Off to Hatfield.
Good presence on the offensive boards, leading to a foul there, and Hudson looking to pull within 2.
Audrey Hatfield going to the free throw line. That'll be the 4th team foul on the Mustangs. Looking to cut into the 4-point lead the Mustangs have built up here. First shot up and good for Audrey Hatfield. 17-14, 3:27 to go here. And Destiny Hadelman is checked back in for the Mustangs. Second free throw forthcoming for Hatfield. Sits them both. Beautiful. 2 for 2 for Hatfield, who comes out.
Yeah, Hudson really needed that to at least build some sort of momentum, as it was quite a long time that they hadn't had a basket.
I believe it was a 6-0 run by the Mustangs prior to that. 17-15. Mustang ball. Chen back off to Johnson. Back off to Mogan.
Fantastic perimeter defense. Scrum for the ball there.
Steal for Hudson. They're going to push it in transition coming off that steal.
Nice
and Carly.
Open look.
And Carly driving the baseline. And we are all knotted up.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Hudson has been able to tie this game up at 17 apiece.
Johnson, off-angle shot, rebound by Hadelman. No good. Taken away by Hudson. Off to Carly. Carly's going to cork it. Or excuse me, that's going to be Jonas. Jonas with the shot, and the Raiders, after falling down by 4, have run 6 in a row off and pull ahead now, 19-17. 2.5 to go here in half number 1.
Yeah, Sophia Jonas is pretty close to automatic on those mid-range shots. She's been sinking them all year long so far for Hudson.
Spin move by Hadelman as she was double-teamed, taken away by Hudson. Lauren Stoltzman looking to drive the lane.
Oh, nice
Goes
move.
around the defender, and Stoltzman, wire to wire, puts it in. 21-17. The Raiders pull ahead by 4. Hastings.
Oh, and 1. So Menomonie quickly pulls in, and they can cut it down to a 1-point game right before half ends as we reach 2 minutes.
Mogan with the bucket there is going to go to the line for the old-fashioned 3 and try to draw the Mustangs to within 1. Hit the 2-minute mark. Good first half. Back and forth scoring. Hudson led for a good chunk of the first half. Menomonie went on a run, pulled ahead. Now Hudson has pulled ahead by 2 with the free throw coming. No good. Hudson with the rebound. We dip under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Off to Stoltzman.
Good screen there from O'Brien to set up Stoltzman on that shot. Drawing a foul.
Stoltzman drives into the paint. Shot no good, but she's going to be fouled. That one's going to be on Shelby Thornton, the 5'7" freshman guard for the Mustangs. And Stoltzman's going to go to the free throw line. Try to increase the Raider lead. First shot no good. 21-19 Raiders. 1:51 to go here in half number 1. Second shot no good.
Rough trip from the line there.
And Stoltzman came into the game averaging 77% from the free throw line. Unfortunately, she was not able to connect on either one, but Hudson retains possession off the Mustang turnover. Back off to Stoltzman, top of the key. Kicks it back out to Jonas.
Wow.
Jonas with the shot, the three-pointer.
What a feed and what a smooth shot there from Sophia Jonas, opening up this game a little bit, now taking a 5-point lead for Hudson.
Biggest lead of the night for the Hudson Raiders. Minute 34 to go. Drive by Johnson. No good. Hadelman with the rebound, taken away by Hudson. They have numbers. 3-on-1. Back off to Stoltzman. Up and in. And Lauren Stoltzman is feeling it tonight. 26-19. The Raiders up by 7.
Yeah, Menomonie has been trying their best to slow the pace down as we reach towards a $1:12 left to go in the first half.
Johnson off to Hastings. Hastings back to Johnson.
Oh, active hands. O'Brien's been doing that all year, and even though it doesn't lead to a turnover, it leads to a stop to Menomonie possession.
That being Grace O'Brien, the 5'5 sophomore guard, kicking it out of bounds. Mustangs retain possession. Hastings back off to Steinmetz. Steinmetz trying to work it inside to Johnson, who brings it back out. Off to the top of the key, back off to Hastings. Directing traffic out there, looking for the open.
Oof. Careless mistake there, and that might cost Menomonie a possession. Or it will, but it might cost them a deeper hole if Hudson can sink another shot here.
48.4 to go here, half number one. And the Hudson Raiders, after falling down by 4, have been on a heck of a run here, now lead 26-19.
Yep, stayed resilient so far in the first half.
That's going to be a foul on Shelby Thornton as she banged into Stoltzman behind the arc. That will be foul number 6. The next foul will put the Mustangs in the bonus. Both teams at 6 fouls. In the last 38.3 seconds to go here, Hudson with the inbound under their own basket, looking for Hatfield. She wasn't open. Ball off to Stoltzman from the right side, no good. Hatfield looks like she's going to.
Yep. Couldn't recollect the ball in time travel.
She was tiptoeing the line here, coming off that Stoltzman miss. Hatfield's going to come out. 32 seconds to go. 32.8, 26-19 Raiders over the Mustangs. Mustangs bring it out, possibly playing for the last shot.
Yeah, I'm guessing the way that Menomonie has played so far, by tendency, it seems like they're going to bleed the clock down.
Back off to Johnson. Johnson trying to work it into Hadelman. Hadelman kicking it back to Johnson, who drops it back out to Hadelman. No good. She had a clean look. It didn't go down.
Menomonie will have another chance.
That one's going to go off Annika Lewis. Mustangs retain possession underneath their own bucket. Johnson with the inbound pass. Off to Thornton. Kicking it back in. The spin move by Hadelman. And
nice.
the hook move up and in. The 6'2 senior Hadelman with the point, drawing the Mustangs to within 5, and that's going to run the clock out there. 26-21, the Hudson Raiders with a 5-point lead as we go into halftime over the Menomonie Mustangs. What do you think so far in the first half?
It's been as close as the football games between these two schools through the years, and I know you know a lot about that.
Yes, the Menomonie Mustangs had a close win and a late win this fall. They came into Hudson and pulled off a win here. But right now the Hudson Raiders looking to pull the upset. The 5-4 Raiders against the 9-2 Mustangs and holding a 5-point lead here. And we're going to step away for a little bit, check some stats. We'll come back to update you. But so far so good if you're a Hudson Raider fan. Hudson Raiders 26, the Menomonie Mustangs 21. We'll step aside and be back in just a moment. Sweet Caroline, we hear that a lot. Stoltzman at top of the key, kicking it back off to Jonas. Turns it over.
That's a rough way to start the half for Hudson. Had some good momentum going.
Hastings going to be throwing it in. Mustangs bringing it across half court, coming off that Raider turnover. That's Johnson, who did a lot of the ball handling, off to Hastings in the first half. Mogan, no good. Rebound by Hatfield. Hatfield kicks it off to Jonas. Jonas across half court.
Yeah, on that shot, Mogan decided to go inside, even though her defender kind of took a trip there. Interesting decision.
Kicks it back off to O'Brien. Off to Jonas. Stoltzman unloads the three, no good.
She has been a threat tonight so far, and pretty much all season from the perimeter.
That one goes off to Menomonie. Raiders holding a 5-point lead, half number 2. Hudson High School, glad to have you on board here on this Saturday night. Drops off to Thornton on the right side, kicks it back off to Mogan. Mogan looking to get it into Hadelman. Hadelman and Hatfield. Back in on the low block, trying to spin. Hatfield with their arms up, preventing any spin move. We're going to have a turnover here, chasing it down. And as we predicted, Hadelman and Hatfield going at it here. Two big ball players, both 6'2". Raider ball.
Yeah, they're both neutralizing each other inside in the paint there, and the two anchors for these two squads are going to be duking it out down there all night.
Jonas off to Carly, back off to Annika Lewis on the right side, guarded by Hastings. We're going to have a foul. That will be on Boyley. Excuse me. No, that will be on Johnson. First foul, second foul for Johnson. First team foul for the Mustangs here in half number 2. Raiders maintaining possession. Annika Lewis off on the right side, back off to Jonas. Jonas to Carly, looking to possibly feed it into Hatfield. Instead, they work the other side, off to Lewis. And Jonas dribbling it into the paint. Getting physical down there is Hadelman.
Yeah, for the first 2 minutes here, screens haven't worked all that well, but in the first half, screens have been a premium way of scoring for Hudson, so that's kind of an interesting change that Menomonie has adjusted to.
There's a tie-up awarded to the Mustangs on possession.
Oh, nice defensive play.
Thornton blocked. And Stoltzman feeds it back, kicks it back, and puts it in. Lauren Stoltzman, her 12th point of the game. She led all scorers in the first half for Hudson.
Hudson doing a great job of having active hands on defense and on the boards, and right as I say that, they gave up an offensive rebound, but for most of the night, they've done pretty well on those two fronts.
And Mogan and Hadelman working back and forth to each other. Goes out of bounds. Mustangs retain possession, inbounding it under their own basket. 28-21. The Raiders with a 7-point lead here in half number 2. 15:51 to go. And Hatfield got whistled for that foul. That's her third. She's getting an explanation from the referee as she comes out. That potentially could be a problem for the Raiders down the stretch. We'll have to see how long she sits.
She's getting in foul trouble here really quickly.
Chen back off to Hastings. Is going to outcork the three. No good. Rebound Hudson.
Right into the waiting arms of Johnson there on that air ball.
Jonas bring it in off to Stoltzman, who drives the baseline up and in.
Bucket.
And Lauren Stoltzman, we talked about her in the pregame, and she is lighting it up tonight. 14 points for the junior.
She has been running circles around this Mustang squad, and there hasn't been much of an answer for her. And even though she hasn't gotten a few of her threes to drop, she's been getting good and open looks inside and out.
Running the floor, Vera Johnson looking to back her way in. No good. Rebound by Grace Johnson. Back off to Jonas, brings it up half court. Jonas back off to Carly. Carly to Lewis. Lewis back to Jonas. Hudson working it around the perimeter. Beautiful low block entry pass. No good. She's going to be called for traveling.
Yeah. Bit indecisive there.
That being Boyley as the entry pass was there and the shot was open. Unfortunately, she walked and turned it over. Mustang ball bringing it across half court.
Hudson, though, should look for that shot almost every possession. If they can get it wide open under the basket, barring something like that happening again, it should be an easy 2 points for Hudson for the rest of the night.
Hastings, top of the key. It's not going to be over and back as there was Johnson looking to drive. She's going to be fouled, I believe, by Carly prior to the shot. That will be Carly's first foul, the third team foul on the Raiders here in half number 2. 30-21, the Raiders with their biggest lead of the game, 9 points.
Yeah, quick 3 fouls so far for Hudson in the first 3.5 minutes of play. Been a rough second half so far on defense.
Three-pointer by Johnson, no good. Rebound to Hudson, off to Stoltzman. She's going to push. Pass across court, intercepted by the Mustangs. We're going to go to a jump ball, and that's going to be a Raider possession. So the Raiders are going to take possession underneath their own bucket. Up 30-21, 14-14 to go in here in half number 1. Back out to Johnson. Johnson top of the key, drops it back over to Lewis. Lewis off to Grace Johnson. Johnson back off to Melanie Carly. Top of the key looking to dribble. A little more patient offense by Hudson this time. Jonas. Spin move.
Oh, good look there from Grace Johnson. Didn't quite fall, though.
Spin move by Johnson, no good. Rebound to the Mustangs, up and in by Morgan.
Moving free throw line J there from Morgan.
And the 6-foot senior starting to feel a little bit here as she was held to only 6 points in the first half coming into this game as their leading scorer averaging 16. So with the Morgan field goal, the Mustangs call a timeout. The Raiders still holding a 30-23 lead.
Yeah, but you can certainly feel momentum shift right now. Hudson has had a lid on their basket so far in the second half in the short amount of time that we've played here in the second half of this affair, but the Mustangs have been able to score really well and been able to, take the Hudson offense at all angles and not let them score.
Well, the Raiders really looking to get the ball into junior guard Lauren Stoltzman's hands, and she's been pretty accurate from behind the arc. And not only that, she's been moving the floor very well, passing very well. She's had a couple very nice drives and pushing it in transition.
Yeah, she has been the heart of this offense so far tonight, and she's been that way for a good chunk of the season, so it most likely will continue for the rest of this half.
Coming out of the timeout for the Mustangs, it's going to be Annika Lewis inbounding the ball off to Jonas. Jonas going to bring the ball up. Raiders maintaining that 7-point lead under the 14-minute mark here in half number 2. Off to Stoltzman on the right hand. Cross-court pass off to Carly. Back to Stoltzman from behind the arc. No good. Rebound by Johnson. Back to Stoltzman. She's going to try it again. Oh. No good. From the exact spot as the previous shot. Is the third time the charm. They kick it back and forth to Jonas. And Stoltzman's trying to angle up on that left side for that open three-point look.
Yeah, she has been oozing confidence all night from that side of the court. So
Jonas off to Carly. Back off. Looks to drive top of the key. This time they're going to try Jonas on the right side. No good. And Stoltzman tried to inbound it, but it goes over to the Mustangs. Inbounded by Schwartz, who's going to inbound it into Johnson. Score still remains 30-23 Raiders. 13:02 left here in half number 2. Mustangs bringing it half across court. Johnson off to Hadelman, who's off on the right side. Moving it into Mogan, that being Kylie Mogan.
Menomonie has just been getting good looks consistently so far in the half.
They're working the ball in more to Mogan and Hadelman. First shot, good. 30-24, 6-point lead by the Raiders. The Mustangs still hanging around. Second shot, good. Cuts the lead to 5, 30-25. Raiders coming off, almost throw it away. Back off to Grace O'Brien. O'Brien on the right side to Jonas. The defensive intensity turned up by the Mustangs here as they cut into that lead, now down to 5. Back off to Jonas. Jonas to O'Brien. Stoltzman, a cross-court pass to Jonas. She's going to drive the right side, no good. Rebound by Hudson. Offensive board back to Jonas and up and in. Sophia Jonas, I believe that's her 7th point of the night. 5 in the first half. 32-25 Raiders.
Yeah, Menomonie was playing a zone up there with a trap up at the top to specifically prevent shots like that from Jonas. And second time's the charm for Sophia there as she missed the first and sinks the second one from that exact same spot.
Johnson inbounding for the Mustangs. Drops it back off to Hadelman, who goes out to Jacobson. Cross-court pass almost intercepted.
Right to the Menomonie coach.
To Annika Lewis, who knocks it out of bounds. It'll remain Mustang ball. We have some changes for the Mustangs. Number 21, Shelby Thornton, 5'7" freshman guard coming into the game. It'll be inbounded by Hastings. Hastings off to Johnson. Top of the key. Mustangs looking to work the perimeter as Mogan chucks up a 3, no good. Rebound to Hudson. Hudson's got numbers. They're going to looking to push. Off to O'Brien. Top of the key, back off to Jonas. Thinks about driving the baseline, no good. Off to Lauren Stoltzman, no good. She's gone cold from behind the arc off on that left side.
Yeah, she's stayed pretty content with just hanging out on the wing side, and she has the range to make those shots, so very uncharacteristic for her not to be able to sink those.
She had the hot hand in the first half, struggling from behind the arc more here in the second half. Still a 7-point lead, 32-25, the Raiders up over the Mustangs, under the 11.5-minute mark here in half number 2. Mustangs looking to drive in, drops it back off to Hastings. We're going to have a foul. Looks like that's going to be on Grace that's going to be on Jonas. Her first foul, the 5th team foul on Hudson compared to only 1 team foul for the Mustangs here in half number 2. Inbounded in to Mogan. Mogan's going to chuck it from behind the arc, no good. Good position, rebound by Jonas. Jonas off to Stoltzman, no good. Rebound by Hudson, by Johnson. Back off to Stoltzman.
Now you can see she's kind of backing off of those shots now.
After up she goes. No good. Almost had it going down. But excellent rebound by Grace O'Brien that time as she crashed into the paint. Up and in, and O'Brien going to the free throw line for a chance to put Hudson up by double digits.
Grace O'Brien is quite the scrappy shooting guard right now. She has been playing fantastic for the Hudson Raiders, and she has been a solid wing player for them.
O'Brien, the 5'5" sophomore, seeing a fair amount of action. This is a very young Hudson Raiders team this year.
Yeah, they are going to be very good in probably next year with the amount of talent that they have on this squad. It's just about polishing up the game, and statement wins like this against Menomonie, if they can hold on to the 10-point lead here, would be very good for morale.
O'Brien with the free throw puts Hudson up by 10, 35-25. And Lindsey Johnson drives in as the Mustangs end their cold streak as they find themselves down by double digits. Off to Stoltzman. She backs it out. Off to O'Brien. O'Brien off to Jonas. Off to Stoltzman, back to Jonas. Top of the key, working that perimeter.
Menomonie's 2-3 zone has been really good for them so far in the first part of the second half here. They've been able to limit Hudson's perimeter shots as Lauren Stoltzman gets one, and she sinks it from the corner.
And Stoltzman, that's going to be a two-pointer, but that gets her back in the scoring schneid as Hudson jumps back out to that 10-point lead. We dip under the 10-minute mark here in half number 2.
And you can see in the bottom of the screen as they were crossing the court, Audrey Hatfield will look to check in here in about a sec.
Shot no good for the Mustangs. Rebound to Hudson. Stoltzman brings it across to Jonas. And Jonas back to O'Brien. Trying to work it inside. Stolen away by Mogan. She's going to go wire to wire, up and in.
Wide open lane.
Kylie Mogan, the leading scorer for the Mustangs, starting to light it up. It's going to put her in double digits in the scoring column and cuts the lead to 8, and that's going to be a timeout for the Mustangs. 37-29, the Raiders over the Mustangs.
Been a good half so far for the Menomonie Mustangs. Even though they've been down by 10 points a lot so far, they've been able to cut it down to 8, and now it's about being consistent on the offensive side of the ball and being able to stop them on defense, because whenever they go and cut it to 8, Hudson is usually able to just come right back and cut their confidence and go right back to 10-point lead. Coach
Jessica Carney instructing her players down there. Of course, tonight, the opening of the NFL playoffs. We've got already one game in the books, an upset, as the Houston Texans are knocked off at home by the upstart Indianapolis Colts. Cowboys and Seahawks going at it right now. Stoltzman bringing it up top of the key, drops it back off to Jonas on the left side. Jonas looking to drive to the top of the key, stops her dribble, kicks it back to Stoltzman. Looking to work it in here as we're on to the 9.5-minute mark. Back off to O'Brien. O'Brien looking it into Hatfield.
Nice entry pass there from O'Brien, lobbing it over Hatfield's defender, and she's able to get position inside in the post and draw a nice quick foul.
That'll foul will be on Hadelman. That's going to be her first. And we were wondering how Hadelman and Hatfield, 2'6'2", big-time post players, were going to go at it tonight, and puts Hatfield at the line. First shot up and good.
They've been butting heads so far. When they've been on the court, they have been at each other's throats. And Hatfield has been getting the better part of her so far, but there's still 9 minutes left to go.
Hatfield with 3 fouls. She had to come out for a while. Now back in, looking to knock back this second free throw and put Hudson up by 10, and she does, 39-29. 9:14 to go here in half number 2.
And we're back again to another 10-point deficit for Menomonie. See how they respond.
Mustangs bringing it up, looking to pass off to Hadelman. She looks to drive in, but unfortunately for her, before she hits the paint, she's called with the traveling, and yet another turnover for the Mustangs. Hudson ball off to Stolzen, bringing it up. Boy, she's quick, looking to kick it back. Drops it back off to O'Brien. Pass off to Jonas. Stolzman off the right side, top of the key to O'Brien. Stolen away by the Mustangs. From Grace O'Brien, the Mustangs are going to push in transition. No good. They're going to, looks like they're going to get Jonas on a foul, I believe. That's Jonas' second foul and the 6th team foul for the Raiders. The next foul will put the Mustangs in the bonus here in half number 2.
Yeah, they have been pretty consistent with drawing fouls inside. And with about 8 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the game, it seems almost inevitable that Menomonie is going to reach the bonus here with 7 fouls against Hudson.
First free throw up and in. They cut the lead back to single digits, now 39-30. Hudson with the lead. Second shot by Johnson up. Rattles in and out. Stoltzman had the rebound. Or excuse me, that would be Boyley had the rebound. No good. Mustangs retain it. Air ball. Cleaned up by Hatfield.
That's the second 3-point air ball that we've seen from Menomonie, one in the first half and one in the second half.
Jonas bringing it across court. Off to Stoltzman. And Stoltzman with a quick move up and in. And Lauren Stoltzman closing in on 20 points, 41-30. 8:16 to go here in half number 2.
Yeah, she's back in the scoring column again now in the second half after cooling off. She's been slowly building up her confidence. Nice backdoor move from Menomonie. Can't go, though.
Shot does not go. Defensive board by the Raiders. Jonas bringing it down right side. Off to Boyley. Boyley feeding it in to Hatfield. Spin move. No good. Good defense that time by Hadelman. Forced the shot. Raiders still cling to that 11-point lead. And Chen looking to have a runner in the lane. No good. Defensive board by Hudson. Errant pass is going to go off Boyley.
Luckily for Hudson, though, it'll stay.
Last touched by a Mustang. I see Coach Carney down there calling a timeout, going to gather things up. 7:37 to go. The Hudson Raiders with a 41-30 lead, 11-point lead. So far, so good.
Yeah, not much else that you can say about this Hudson Raiders squad so far. They have been consistently giving it to Menomonie on the offensive end besides a few cold stretches, but for most of this game, they've dominated on both sides of the ball. Active hands on defense leading to quick points. And even when Hudson gets set, they're finding their shooters like Lauren Stoltzman out on the perimeter and getting three-pointers or mid-range shots. Or, you know, in the beginning it was kind of rough for Hudson inside the arc, but now they've kind of developed the all-around offensive approach.
The next game for the Hudson Raiders, they'll go on the road up to Rice Lake to take on the Rice Lake Warriors, who are really struggling this year. That'll be next Friday, and then they're back home with a makeup non-conference game that we will have broadcast here on HudsonBroadcast.com against the Stillwater Ponies, our neighbors to the west across the St. Croix River. That should be a good one. That'll be Monday, January 14th. And then they are continuing their home run there with another Friday game, a conference game back in the Big Rivers Conference play against Eau Claire Memorial.
Stillwater is a scary team for Hudson to play against. They have a University of Minnesota commit, a Golden Gopher future player for Lindsay Whalen. She can't remember the name off the top of my head, but Hudson will have to find a way to slow down Stillwater's offense as Audrey Hatfield puts in a quick bucket, giving the Raiders a 13-point lead.
Coming off the inbound play, Audrey Hatfield. Low block entry pass and jits up and good, 43-30. The biggest lead of the game as Hudson starting to pull away here from the favored Mustangs at home. And Mogan looking to drive in the paint. Jump shot up and in. Kylie Mogan, leading scorer for the Mustangs, starting to heat up. Is it going to be too little, too late? We'll have to see. 7 minutes and change to go. 43-32. The Mustangs closing the gap.
Error to throw there from Boyle, and luckily for Menomonie, they can snatch possession away from the Raiders. Maybe get a quick 2-for-1.
Menomonie periodically has employed a full court press with limited success. It did work that time. And Hadelman coming off that foul, and that'll be Hatfield's fourth. That's tough.
Yeah, she's going to have to sit on the bench again. That is one of the last things that Hudson wants.
Hadelman going to the free throw line, the senior. First shot up and good. 43-33, the lead back to 10 as Hadelman knocks the front end of 2 shots from the free throw line. Second one forthcoming. For the Menomonie Mustangs, they will go on the road for their next game. No, they'll be at home. Non-conference game against the always tough Eau Claire Regis Ramblers. That will be on Monday. Hudson inbounding the ball. Back off to Jonas. The Mustangs are in that full court press again. Jonas breaks the press, gets it across, back off to Hadelman. Dishes it off to Boyle. Cranks a 3, no good. Rebound by Mogan. Mogan's going to push it on the right-hand side. Guarded by Young. Shot no good.
And I know that Menomonie is trying to force the issue when Hudson has the ball, but one of the bright spots for this Menomonie defense has been their 2-3 zone and how successful it's been. So kind of surprised that even though there's only about 6 minutes and some change left to go in the ball game, they haven't really used that zone style, and now they drop back into it as Hudson gets set.
Jonas off to Hadelman, off to Carly on the right side. She'll go to the top of the key. Hudson sets their offense. Off to Boyle. Boyle on the right side trying to free up Stoltzman on the right. She's knocked back a few three-pointers from both sides this game. And back off to Carly. Carly's going to drive in. They're going to get a foul, I believe, on Kylie Mogan. As Carly looked to drive in there, that'll be foul number 4. Team foul number 4 for the Mustangs. They're going to call that a Jacobson. That was a break there, as I thought originally we were going to call it a Mogan. First shot up and good for Carly, the 5'9" senior.
How close is Stoltzman to 20? Do you know?
She's within 3.
Within 3? That shouldn't be too hard for her considering how well she's been playing.
Second shot for Carly. Up and good. 45-34. 6 minutes to go. The lead back to double digits for the Raiders. The Mustangs starting to see the handwriting on the wall here.
Yeah, they're really forcing the issue on both sides.
Looking to knock back some threes. There's still enough time to get in it, but if they're going to make a move, they have to do it soon.
Too far of a post entry pass there, leading
Johnson looking to drive in. Good defense by the Raiders. They steal it back. Raiders steal it back from the Mustangs. Back and forth they go. Off to Stoltzman on the left side. Cross-court pass off to Boyle. Boyle kick it back to Jonas.
Ooh.
No good. Defensive board by Mogan. Mogan looks to push off to Johnson. Johnson thinking about the 3. 5:32 to go. Back off to Steinmetz. Looking to drive into the paint, top of the key. Back off to Jacobson. Jacobson go back at the top of the key, off to Thornton.
Hudson wants a double dribble or a travel on that one, but the refs won't give it to him.
Thornton looking to drive that time. They're going to get a foul beyond Thornton as she drove in the lane there. And that will be on Lauren Stoltzman, who's I don't know if Stoltzman has come out this game. She has. It hasn't been for very long, and that's her first foul. Been very active. That is the 8th team foul as the Mustangs are now in the bonus. 45-34. And Thornton to the free throw line for a one-on-one.
Last time Menomonie had a 1-for-1, they sunk both of them. So for Menomonie's sake, hopefully more of the same.
First shot up and good for Shelby Thornton, a 5'7" freshman guard.
Very good night from the charity stripe for the Mustangs so far tonight.
Second shot lead back to 10 for the Raiders. Second shot comes off strong, but an offensive board by Mogan. Can't seal it. Rebound by Hatfield. Off to Stoltzman. Across half court. Kicks it off to Lewis. Lewis back to Jonas. Off to Stoltzman on the right-hand side. Cross-court pass. They've done that quite a few times tonight, trying to free up something on either side behind the arc.
Stoltzman setting up there on the wing side, looking for another three-pointer.
Back across it goes. And Chen almost picked that off.
Jeez.
And Stoltzman had to sky for that one. And Carly really playing back and forth here at the top of the key. No shot clock. Sitting on a 10-point lead.
Yeah, just trying to hold the ball as long as possible.
Back off to Jonas. Stoltzman thinking about it. Pulls it back. Drops it back to Carly. Back and forth it goes. Trying to, the Mustangs, at some point, they're going to have to go to the foul. Up and in. A very patient offensive possession that time. Lewis. And the 12-point lead now for the Raiders. 47-35. 4 minutes to go. Three-pointer as the Mustangs see this game slipping away.
And they draw another foul.
That was by Schwartz. And Mogan now going to the free throw line, and even 4 minutes to go. The 9th team foul on the Raiders. One more will go into a double bonus.
Yeah, Hudson needs to lay off on the contests on some of those shots. They have been way too easy for Menomonie to get buckets from the free throw line, and as you said, they are really close to the double bonus.
That was the 5th team foul, or excuse me, the 9th team foul, the 5th personal foul on Audrey Hatfield, who is now fouled out. First shot up and good for Mogan.
And even though it is tough to see a good player have to sit for the rest of the game, there is only 4 minutes left exactly with an 11-point lead. Unless free throw is sunk here, then it'll be 10, which it is.
Mogan with two good-looking free throws draws the Mustangs back to within 10. Exactly 4 minutes to go. The Mustangs going into a full-court press, looking to force a turnover and cut into this lead as time is of the essence. Under 4 minutes to go. Raiders break the press across half court. Possession off to Carly. Carly back off to Jonas, who kicks it off to Stoltzman. Stoltzman back to Carly. Carly off to Lewis. Very patient at the top of the perimeter, just as in the previous offensive possession for the Raiders, sitting on a 10-point lead. 3:35 to go, half number 2.
Yeah, seconds are bleeding away from Menomonie. You have to wonder when they're going to have to start fouling.
And Jonas with the traveling call. That's be the best case scenario that time for the Mustangs, is to force a turnover, which they did. They got possession, 3:27 to go, under 3.5. Lead still 10, 47-37. Off to Jacobson. Frees up Johnson on the right. Mustangs are going to have to uncork one here. Driving down the lane. Shot no good. Offensive board by Mogan. She's down on the floor, kicks it back off to Johnson. Johnson driving in, no good. We're going to have a tie-up, and I believe it's going to be Mustang ball. Raider ball on the tie-up. Multiple chances underneath for the Mustangs, could not seal the deal.
Yeah, it's quite the punch in the gut for the Mustangs. They had some great opportunities to cut the lead within 8, and now Hudson is back once again with possession with a 10-point lead. Breaking
the Mustang press, Raiders into a half-court offense here, being very patient, forcing the Mustangs to come out as they work it around the perimeter, kicking it back in to Johnson. Johnson back out to Jonas. Jonas over to Gresham. Lauren Gresham, who's come in, one of the seniors. Hasn't seen a lot of action this game. And Jonas back off, kicking it back out. It's going to be a foul on Melanie Carly. Have to see who that's on, but that's team foul number 5. Foul on Jacobson, the 5'6" freshman guard, her second of the game. Still 2 fouls to go before the bonus for the Raiders. Stoltzman looking to drive. Fancy move there on the right side. No good.
Oh, couldn't quite put it in. Nice move there from Lauren Stoltzman.
Mogan bringing it down. Top of the key, pulls up, no good. Offensive board by the Mustangs. Under 2 minutes to go. And back out to Mogan. Mogan working that right side. Looking to free it up. Good defense by Hudson. Almost a 5-second call. And the Mustangs, with about a half a second to go, closely guarded, calls the timeout. And head coach Storm Harmon trying to design up a play, but it's crunch time, to say the least, by the Mustangs as the Raiders hold a 47-37 lead.
Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say lights out quite yet, but it seems pretty obvious that we are reaching the climax of this game with Hudson with a 10-point lead. If they have kept a stronghold on double-digit leads for this whole second half so far.
Taking a look at the Big Rivers Conference standings, this being a conference game, Chippewa Falls sitting atop the conference with an undefeated 5-0 record. Chippewa Falls having defeated both of these teams earlier in the season. Menomonie sitting at second, 4-1, and Hudson 2-2. With this win here is going to put Hudson, as you mentioned, more kind of in the driver's seat, just below Chippewa Falls. I mean, we're only in early January. We've got a lot of season to go, but, jockeying for position within the conference and then those all-important section seedings as we head into postseason play in late February. It seems a long ways away, but it'll be here before you know it. So games like this, very important in standings, both in conference and in section.
Yeah, especially with Hudson after this one most likely going to be 3-2 and Menomonie being 4-2. That means Hudson is only a half a game behind second place in the Big Rivers Conference, and that would be huge for them to at least nip at the heels of Chippewa Falls. And if Menomonie slips up once again, Hudson could be right there on the prowl with a win, and they can take second place.
Chen inbounding it in. Mustangs working it in, drops it back off to Mogan, who finishes. Cuts the lead to 8. Raiders working against that Mustang press, off to Stoltzman, back off to Carly, who kicks it back out, off to Johnson. The clock continuing to tick. You got to wonder when the Mustangs are going to foul, and you got your answer right there. Is Johnson going to be called for the foul? Stops the clock. And that's going to be the 6th foul on the Mustangs. And that will be foul number 3 on Johnson, 47-39. The next one will put Hudson into the bonus.
Yeah, and we brought up the idea of fouling about 3 minutes ago, and now Menomonie has finally, decided to just kind of not necessarily do away with the full court press, but the main objective is to foul as Carly is
back into
dribbling
Carly.
around.
Off to Johnson. Going to be a foul, I believe, on Hastings.
And that puts him in the bonus, so 1-1.
Be a 1-1 for the Raiders. Minute 12 to go here.
The senior Lewis hoping to add 2 points to the scoring column.
We'll be back on the air next Tuesday as the boys travel to Menomonie to take on the Mustangs in boys action. I have that on HudsonBroadcast.com. Block, turnover, possession Hudson, looking to kick it out.
Timeout is burned there from Hudson.
Coach Jess Carney calling a timeout as we are now at 1 minute 59.9 to be exact. Hudson still holding that 47-39 lead. Just a 30-second timeout. Just taking a quick look at the football playoffs for those football fans out there. 3-3, the Seahawks and the Cowboys.
I didn't expect it much different from a talented Cowboys defense, but kind of interesting to see the Seahawks kind of stay stuck at 3 points, especially with a guy like Russell Wilson.
And I was very surprised at the Seahawks this year with the departure of Richard Sherman and kind of some internal rumblings and some different things, a key retirement and different, that maybe their time had come and gone. But I'll give Pete Carroll credit. I think this was one of his best coaching jobs in the years he's been at Seattle to get the Seattle. That's a good Seattle team. Back to action here. Hudson inbounding the Mustangs with the full court press, trying to force the turnover here. Under a minute to go, and Hudson throws it away back in to Mogan. A very well executed full court press, forcing the turnover by the Mustangs, and Mogan is not able to finish, but going to the free throw line, best case scenario with the clock stopped. This game is not over.
Yeah, and even though you stop a free throw there, if you are the Hudson Raiders, you end up giving Menomonie more time to breathe, and it's one of the last things Hudson wants, and one of the best things that Menomonie could get.
And Mogan, their leading scorer, no good on free throw number one. Second one up and in, 47-40.
Slowly but surely, a 7-point game. Menomonie has crept their way back in, making it closer at least.
Long pass into O'Brien. Drops it back off, looking to just maintain possession, force the Mustangs to come out and foul, which they do.
And Hot Potato there works for a few seconds, but Menomonie able to foul.
Up to 40, down to 46 seconds, and that will be the 8th team foul for the Mustangs, putting the Raiders in the bonus. And now it's just up to the Raiders, and specifically Sophia Jonas, to knock down the free throws and ice out this lead.
No pressure, though.
Jonas the free throw line. First one up and in. And the 5'6" sophomore guard played outstanding game. Put the lead back to 8. Second shot up and good for Jonas. Lead back to 9. Mustangs bringing it down, looking to free up the three-pointer to Hastings. No good. Stoltzman goes after the rebound over there. She's going to be fouled. That'll be the 9th on the Mustangs. The next one will put the Raiders into the double bonus, 36.6. That's really what the Mustangs are trying to do, is force the Raiders to go to the free throw line, hope they go cold, push it quickly in transition, try to knock down an open three, and try to make up a lot of points in a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, and they set it up perfectly. The only thing that didn't happen was obviously the three didn't go in. They set up a nice corner shot, which is the closest three you can get, set up a shooter, and now Stoltzman looking to close it on 19 points.
First shot up and good for Lauren Stoltzman. The lead back to double digits, 10, 50-40, 36.6 to go. This next one would put her at 20 for the game, according to my math. Rattles around and good, 51-40. And the Mustangs pushing it in transition now. And they have, the Raiders have fended off a Mustang attempted rally here in the final minute and a half. Playing out the string, looking to drive the baseline, no good.
Yeah, Menomonie's wasting too much time now trying to get a shot.
Down to 21 seconds. That's going to be off a Hudson Raider possession Mustangs. They got to score and score quickly. Kick it back out to Jacobson. Jacobson off to Schoenberger.
Oof.
Almost a turnover there by Chen. The clock continuing to tick. And Chen's surprised she didn't cork a three there. Drops it back off into the paint.
Runner doesn't go there, and that should be the end of it.
Runner by Shorts, no good. And that is game. As Grace Johnson grabs the final rebound. And your final score tonight, the Hudson Raiders 51, the Menomonie Mustangs 40, an upset as the Menomonie Mustangs came in 9-2 against a 5-4 Raider team. And really the Raiders got out to a good lead in the first half. The Mustangs came back, got a lead, but really in the second half here, Brian, it was the Raiders' game. They opened up the double-digit lead, maintained that for the lion's share of the second half, and any little run that the Mustangs had, the Raiders were able to counter and come out of here with a hard-fought, well-earned double-digit win.
Yeah, they were able to fight through a good zone set up by Menomonie, able to get a few buckets, and then when Menomonie tried to force the issue with a full-court press, they stayed patient. They were able to break through, and even though they did cough it up a few times, they were obviously able to win this game and score efficiently on offense. So, John, who is your player of the game tonight?
Well, to me, it's Lauren Stoltz. We talked about her early on, and coming into the game was Hudson's second leading scorer. Jonas, they're within, right next to it. Jonas coming in at 13, Stoltzman with 12, and now with this game, Stoltzman will leapfrog her into the leading scorer. A lot of season to go here. Audrey Hatfield was hampered by foul trouble, but still had a very decent game. Also was very impressed by the play of Grace O'Brien. Melanie Carley was pretty good, but without a doubt, I got to give the player of the game to Lawrence Toltzman. I think for the Menomonie Mustangs, Kylie Mogan coming in the leading scorer, particularly was a little bit too little too late at the end there. She got up into double digits, still below her season average of 16. But this is a pretty decent Menomonie team. This is going to drop them to 4-2 in the conference, 9-3 overall. But these two teams will meet again later in the season over in Menomonie.
Yeah, big game for Hudson. The boys will play in Menomonie on Tuesday, as you mentioned. And this is a good rivalry for both schools, whatever sport it is. And great game from Hudson. Couldn't ask for much more besides just some turnover issues. But offense played well, defense played well, snuck their shots at the free throw line. And both teams played pretty well.
So congratulations to the Hudson Raiders. This improves their season now to 6-4. Looking at the schedule, as we mentioned before, the Raiders will go on the road to Rice Lake next Friday to take on the Warriors, and then they're back home the following Monday in a non-conference game against the Stillwater Ponies. Well, there you have it tonight for Brian Moose. I am John Wecken. Once again, your final score, the Hudson Raiders knock off the Menomonie Mustangs 51-40. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.